I'm Myriam.
And I'm Elyse. Two friends bound by the love of books.
Taking on the world one chapter at a time. This is the Book Bound Besties podcast.
Hey, Book Bound Besties!
Welcome to episode 10 of season 1 of the Book Bound Besties podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Fourth Wing, chapters 28, 29, and 30. For those who know, you know that we're going to have some fun today.
We're getting into it.
Yeah. And I just can't believe that after today, we have 3 episodes left of the whole book.
I know.
It feels like we just started.
I know. It's
well, I mean,
crazy.
for me. You've had this drawn out like torture.
I'm excited to get to the end just because I've heard there's a plot twist and I'm like, all right, I'm ready to have the rug pulled out from under me. Turn my world upside down. Like, I'm ready. I need to know.
I'll say that along with, I guess, what's the norm for these types of books in this genre, the last few chapters are always when shit hits the fan.
Exactly. And I have to do it 3 at a time.
I know.
So these next 3 episodes after today, I'm scared. But anyway.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We also have 2 new things for this episode today. Yeah. So the first thing, for those who can see us on YouTube, they will see that Elyse and I have spicy margaritas because
things are getting spicy.
Exactly. We have our first spicy scene, and we just needed a bit of liquid courage to record this. I'm gonna have a little sip. Delicious. And we actually have another little surprise coming when we hit chapter 30, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Actually, I was about to jump right in. I was super excited, but before, we just wanted to say that this weekend was such a fun weekend for our Instagram page.
Yeah.
And we just had so many fun chats in the DMs with different followers who Elyse posted a sticker of what everyone was reading. I think we're going to start doing that more regularly because that was so much fun to find out what other people were reading and then to kind of chit-chat based on where they were in different books that we had read or hadn't read. And I posted a unhinged book review of The Crown of Gilded Bones, and JLA reposted it.
I know.
That was crazy. Insane. That was so cool. Yeah.
It was a good weekend.
It was a great weekend. Yeah. Other than, we both did nothing. We had such a
True.
a lazy, fun, chill weekend, but it was exciting on the internet.
It was.
Okay, before we get into this, listeners, you'll have to forgive me for this episode because you may have a certain opinion of my level of intellect.
Okay.
But get ready to throw it out the window because these chapters made me stupid for Xaden Ryerson.
I love you.
Everyone knows I've read this book many times and I still just got butterflies and was smiling and kicking my feet reading them. And
they were a great set of chapters. They've been long awaited.
I told you it was a slow burn. Slow.
Yeah. But you know what? I love it. I loved the burn. It was a good lead up.
Oh yeah. It was such a reward.
Yeah.
This is also a PSA to our family and friends.
Yes.
This episode is going to get spicy.
Yes.
Fair warning.
Fair warning. All right. Shall we get into it?
Let's hear our synopsis.
Yes. So chapter 28. The war games have arrived and we finally received news that Mira is alive. Violet figures out how to telepathically flirt with Xaden, and Xaden has a saddle built for Taran. We launch into the games, which turn into a lethal affair, and the chapter ends with Violet finally wielding her Signet. And me crying. But anyway.
Oh my goodness. We have a lightning wielder.
I know. Insane. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
What a power.
I know. Oh, I can't wait to talk about it. Okay. Before we do, I'm going to read the pre-chapter blurb, which comes from page 80 of the Book of Brennan. And it says, winning the war games isn't about strength, it's about cunning. To know how to strike, you have to understand where your enemies, your friends, are most vulnerable. No one stays friends forever, Mira. Eventually, those closest to us become our enemies in some way, even if it's through well-intentioned love or apathy, or if we live long enough to become their villains. What? There's so much to unpack from that.
Yeah. Well, my initial reaction, super excited because cunning is her strength. So I was like, this is great. But then I was like, oh, he's just saying the Batman line.
Oh.
You know? Like you either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain.
Yeah.
So I was like, there you go.
Threw me a little.
Okay, sure.
I guess I never paid enough attention to the pre-chapter blurbs until we started reading these books this book more analytically.
Yeah.
I'm thrown off.
By that one?
Yeah.
Specifically?
Yeah.
Well, it definitely didn't tie into this specific chapter as much as other ones have.
Yeah,
but
anyway,
it could be
I'm just, there's a sense of foreboding.
Leading to other things later on.
Maybe. The chapter opens with Violet waiting outside Professor Markham's office, and she is dying for any sort of news about Montserrat. She has shirked all her responsibilities and has even snuck away from Liam. So the girl is desperado.
She's in knots.
Yeah.
And then Xaden's just there, totally chill. Not unbothered by everything.
And he brings her coffee.
Yeah.
That was so sweet. And his first words are, "Do you still hate me?"
Yeah.
And no. Who can hate a man who is up at the ass crack of dawn
bringing her coffee?
I know, Number one,
best.
he tracked her down. He woke up, he tracked her down, he brought her coffee.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So sweet. It's so sweet. I'm very, very lucky. Scott brings me coffee in bed sometimes on the weekends. I am definitely the sleepier of the two in the couple. So he'll wake up and make breakfast and bring me coffee.
Oh my goodness, you hit the jackpot.
I did.
I'm the one, I wake up at the ass crack of dawn and I sit there by myself, usually reading a book or something, while Justin enjoys his lie-in, and I'm just you know what, good for him. I could not sleep in, even if I tried. It's very annoying.
Yeah. I mean, I don't sleep in late. Sleeping in, it's 8:30.
Yeah, I'm up at 6:37 on the weekends. I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
But then I usually take a nap. I'm a napper.
Oh. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
It's my clock, internal clock, wakes up early no matter what.
Yeah.
But then...
Yeah. If anything, it's Stevie that wakes us up. Her clock is set to...
Okay. Frank is such a lazy, lazy bum. He'll let us sleep. People are going to think we're talking about our children.
Well, there's a lot of comparisons to be drawn there. One of my friends has a child...
a human child?
A human child, 2-3 years old. And when I first got Stevie, I was saying all these things, and she's like, "Oh, it's really like a baby." The way how when they're puppies, they wake up in the middle of the night, you have to let them out and blah, blah, blah. Obviously, there's a lot of differences, but there's a lot of similarities.
There are a lot of similarities.
The brattiness, they behave like
they misbehave,
children. Anyway.
Turns out that Taran told Sigale, who told Xaden, that Violet hadn't slept. And is this not giving Goblet of Fire? When Hermione's Ron was told by Seamus, who was told by...
I didn't even think of that, but yeah, definitely.
That's what I think, because there was just such a chain of people who relayed the message. And little Miss Sassarula, Violet, is bet you're sleeping like a baby. And Violet leans back against the wall and sips his coffee, all chill. And he's like, I haven't slept well since the night my father left Orisha to declare the secession. Mm-hmm. What a where?
It's okay.
What a rare moment of vulnerability from Xaden. Is he feeling regret over what happened in Montserrat? I feel like something kind of shifted when they were there, between them.
Mm-hmm. Well, just the fact that, it was potentially a lethal situation. Yeah. Those situations tend to make people readdress their priorities.
Maybe. I don't know. It's just, I feel like there's something, there's been a shift, he's bringing her coffee, he's being vulnerable with her, he's behaving very, very differently. I don't know if it's because he saw her sister and, I just don't know. But
what sparked it?
Yeah. She realizes then that the time his father declared secession was 6 years ago, and she doesn't even know how old he is. And this is where, like, my little accounting brain comes in, and I'm like, oh, honey, this is called math.
I know. We knew he was 23 at the beginning of the book just because
you entered the Rider's Quadrant at 20.
20. I know. It's so weird. I thought that was so weird, too. I was like, seriously, Violet? Like, you're supposed to be book smart, too.
Yeah. Anyway, he tells her that his birthday's in March, and she's like, mine's in... She's about to tell him when hers is, and he's like finishing her sentence. I'm like, this is like so cute. This is so cute.
Yeah. I mean, despite the fact that he's being sweet and everything, and they're having their little like chat and trying to stay distracted while they're waiting for news, the fact that got me is that there's still that little seed of doubt that Mira planted in her head. And she's like, she had kind of moved past or almost past the not trusting Xaden, I don't know, whatever, because he's proven himself time and time again. But then everything Mira was saying in the last chapters is like replanted that seed of doubt in her head. And I was like, oh, that sucks.
I know. We just want her to throw caution to the wind.
Yes.
So they have this little back and forth about how he's like, I learned all this stuff about you when I was planning on ruining you. And she's like, is that still your plan? / when did that stop being your plan?
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is when the butterflies start. Because he says, maybe it was when I realized the bruises on your neck were fingerprints and I wanted to kill them all over again just so I could do it slowly. Maybe it was the first time I recklessly kissed you, or when I realized I'm fucked because I can't stop thinking about doing more than just kissing you. And then mind to mind, he goes, does it even matter when, as long as it changed between us?
I wrote that quote, an abridged version, but I wrote that quote too. It's just...
I love it so much. And when Violet tells him to stop doing that being the mind to mind, he's like, don't do what? Tell you I can't get you out of my head or speak directly into yours. Oh my goodness. Like, you know what? Xaden has thrown caution to the wind. Like, he doesn't care anymore. He's just being so...
Yeah, he let down all his shields. Like, he's...
Oh my gosh, Elyse, like, I just can't cope.
I do have to say, though, like, this mind to mind, and especially in this next bit, version of mind to mind, like, this is what I couldn't live with. Like...
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love this.
Oh, I hate it. Oh my God. Stay out of my head. Like, especially the next part, Dane comes.
Yes.
And they're talking.
Yeah.
He's talking to her mind to mind while she's trying to talk to Dane. My brain cannot compute that.
Yeah, but he's so funny.
But, oh my God, I could not handle it. It was great to read, but I would not be able to handle that.
But he does tell her that, like, she can try as well. And it's reasonable to believe that if she can open the connection to him, she can shut the connection to him.
For sure, for sure. So example, though, because working in television, everyone on set has walkie-talkies, so all crew members could talk to each other.
Okay.
So I have an earpiece on me at all times, and we have a channel usually by department. So, like, let's say I'm working in props, we're on the props channel, and there could be a bunch of people. So I could be literally talking to someone while someone else is asking me something.
Yeah.
And, like, it's a disaster every time. I just can't. I'm like, wait, hold on. And then my brain doesn't know who to focus on, and then I end up having to ask both people to repeat what they're saying. Like, anyway. So you can relate. Attest that it's not easy to handle.
So they're having this, like, cute little banter, mind-to-mind conversation, and we're interrupted by Dane. Wah, wah.
Wah, wah. I know, he comes in and ruins everything every time.
Yeah.
The worst times.
He's just being such a dum-dum.
Yeah.
And... where you didn't like the mind-to-mind conversation while Dane was there, I loved it because they were, like, talking shit about him literally in front of him, and he had no way to know. I just loved it.
Yeah. I think of purely from a practical standpoint is, like, where I'm coming from.
Yeah. I guess I'm just getting lost in the story and not thinking about the practicality of literally anything. Professor Markham arrives, and he starts to deny Violet the truth, and she argues her points. He relents. He says there was considerable damage to the outpost, but we lost no riders at Montserrat. Phew.
Yeah.
Like, okay, good.
Yeah.
Relief.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like, yes, a little bit of relief, but the sentence wasn't clear enough. Like, it was like, at Montserrat. I'm like, okay, did the bow go elsewhere? Like,
I think you're reading too much into it. Yeah. Like, she is fine. All is good. So Violet collapses in relief. Dane catches her, and as soon as she collects herself, Xaden is gone.
Yeah.
No.
I know. But I mean, I get it.
He's jealous, obviously.
Because Dane, she basically collapses and Dane catches her.
Yeah.
So he's having this moment with her that should have been Xaden's.
Of course.
So yeah, I totally get why he just bounced.
Because Xaden's the one that brought her coffee. Like, Dane shows up and then he's like, oh, like he sees Xaden brought her coffee. So now he's trying to one-up him like, oh, you want breakfast?
Yeah.
Caca. I really don't like him.
Yeah.
Violet basically like then just runs away to the fight field and she just collapses and starts like sobbing, and Darna is there to comfort her, and I just love it so much.
I like the comfort that pets could give you. Like I'm so emotional, but like if I'm having a bad day and I'm just home alone with Stevie, I will literally just hug her and cry, and it's like it's so comforting.
Well, when I was reading Hofast, like Frank couldn't decide. Sometimes he was on the other end of the couch, he wanted nothing to do with me, and other times he was like glued up against me, being like, she needs emotional support.
I know, they're so sweet. They get us, you know.
So the scene changes, and we basically get like a montage of Violet asking Xaden random questions.
Silly, like, get to know you.
Yeah, like she asks if he has siblings. He doesn't. What his favorite food is. It's chocolate cake, which I kind of laughed because neither one of us likes cake.
Yeah, I thought it was really cute. And in reading this scene, I was like, it's true. We don't really know anything about him.
Yeah.
So it was a good scene.
It was so cute.
It was very rom-com.
It was very rom-com. She asks how he knows Liam as like a test just to see if he's being honest. And finally he's like, what is up with all of these questions? Like, I don't get it. And she's like, yeah, I barely know you. And this is so early dating coded. When my husband and I first started dating, he was so nervous to like talk to me and be around me.
Yeah.
Which is really funny for those that know him now. But anyway, he could literally not maintain a conversation. Like, we could not converse. So he would just ask me questions. And, like, I couldn't ask them back. It was the most bizarre thing. I don't even know why I kept dating.
He won your heart.
I know. But that's basically how we communicated. It was, like, literally 20 questions. Anytime we would hang out, it was, like, 20 questions. But one way. It was very weird. Sometimes I would, like, trick him and, like, throw a question in here and there. And then finally, obviously, he loosened up. I like it. This didn't last a month. This lasted only, like, a couple dates or whatever. But
it's funny. But then she tries to bring it to a deeper level and asks about his scars.
Yeah, she goes a little too far.
And he just leaves.
Yeah.
So it's the second time already in this chapter that he leaves when things get too emotional. So he's struggling.
Yes.
He's struggling.
Yes. But in his defense, Taran comes to Violet and is like, why are you pushing him? Like, is it for a particular reason? And Violet's like, why? Like, why shouldn't I? What's wrong? Like, why? What, you know? And he responds, he cares for you. That's already hard enough for him.
Yeah, I don't think at this stage in the relationship it was too forward of her to ask. But
about the scars?
Yeah.
But
obviously,
I think he's sensitive about them.
Absolutely. But they have been spending a lot of time together. Like, I didn't feel like she was crossing a line. He chose to draw that line, and that's totally fine as well.
Yeah.
But it's not like she was, like, berating him.
No. I don't know. Maybe it was just inartful. Like, maybe she could have... Again, we're only getting little snippets of these conversations, but maybe it could have been that she hadn't worked her way up to something so deep and vulnerable. Maybe she didn't offer something deep and vulnerable of herself first. Anyway, Violet responds to Taran saying that he cares about keeping me alive. There's a difference. And Taran's like, nope, not for him. Taran knows something. Taran knows. He knows something. He knows Xaden deep in his soul. And, like, I love that Taran is just, like...
defending him.
Yeah, he's got his back. He's like, oh, I just love it. Taran coming in with the truths.
Taran's the best.
He really is.
Yeah. So then we move forward. It's May, and we're at the first battle of the War Games.
There's just one battle. The War Games is just, like, one thing.
Okay, well, we're at the War Games. And basically we're getting these bits of info of what everyone's challenge is. It's like a giant game of capture the flag.
Yeah.
With dragons involved, which is pretty funny, pretty great. Also giving a little bit of Percy Jackson.
What do you mean?
The first game they do at the camp is capture the flag.
Oh, yeah,
between
it's
the
true.
houses.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. When what's her face pushes Percy into
the water, and then they discover he's the son of
Poseidon.
Yeah.
And Violet's really stressed, like, through this whole time period because she still hasn't manifested her signet. Dane is being super weird. Xaden is getting more secretive, and she feels like Taran is hiding something. So on top of, like, the anxiety around the war games and what it entails, she also has all of this other stress in the back of her mind, and I just feel so bad for her.
Yeah, things are weird in her life right now.
Yeah.
And I just, in reading that, I'm like, I was just, like, waiting for the
we're
other
primed
shoe
for,
to drop.
like, exactly.
What is going to happen? you know? So their crew's task is to carry a flag and protect it.
Yep.
And we know there's also these crystal eggs that they could go and steal from other teams to get more points.
Yep.
But we don't really know much else. They don't even know what the point system is. So
Right. And they don't know if they're going to be playing offense or defense. That whole part kind of confused me.
Me too.
I'm not a sports person. Anyway.
Well, yeah, because it was weird the way it was laid out because they didn't really know the goal. They're not really told how the point system works. All they know is they need to protect their flag, and there are eggs that they could try to steal from other people. But they don't know what the value is. So it's, like, hard to build a strategy around a sport that doesn't really have rules. Like, I don't know.
It's a little bit weird.
It was kind of, convoluted, but
and
whatever.
Violet tries to use her mind-to-mind with Xaden to just get a leg up. And they're flirting again, and it just gives me so many butterflies. And he reveals that they're actually they're actually playing offense and defense. Basically, if you're defensive, you're guarding an egg, and if you're offensive, you're defending a flag. But you could also capture a professor.
Yeah, it was weird. Anyway.
And I love that Xaden, in all of this, is a good enough leader that he basically wanted to test Dane and whether he was paying attention to what Mira had given as a lesson in Montserrat. And apparently he was, because the plan is to play to the individual strengths of everyone in the wing and pass the flag often, never giving first wing, who is Jack's wing, that's who they're going to be going up against, a chance to spot who is carrying the flag. So this next part, Elise, I cannot cope. I cannot cope with the sweetness, the thoughtfulness, the active service. I just...
The saddle.
The saddle.
The saddle.
The saddle!
I know. I mean, he's already made her knives, and now he forges a saddle for her to be able to ride. And I mean, I guess it's in the best interest of Taran, which is in the best interest of Sigale and everything, but it's just so sweet.
We know that that's not the only reason why he did that.
No, I know. It's really sweet. It's really, really sweet.
And when Violet is, like, having all these emotions about, I can't do this. This is against the rule. No other rider needs this. Taran says there is no rule that says a dragon cannot modify their seat to serve their rider. You've worked just as hard, if not harder, than every rider in this quadrant. Just because your body is built differently than the others doesn't mean you don't deserve to keep your seat. It takes more than a few strips of leather and a pommel to define a rider.
It's actually crazy to me that not more people have saddles. Like, I know it's just because it's a sense of pride, and there's a lot of pride in riders.
Yes.
But it just...
Yes and no, because her saddle requires her to be strapped in. And later on in the war games, you see that Jack jumps off his dragon. Like, people fight on the backs of the dragons while the dragons are flying. You need to have the ability to get on and off and to move and whatever.
Yeah, hers specifically because she's strapped in, I agree. Like, but that needed to be modified to her, and that's her access needs, and that's okay. But I'm just, in general, we have all these students who are slipping off their dragon and stuff. If they all had saddles that were easier to sit on from the get-go, I bet you a lot more people would be able to fly dragons.
Yeah.
It just seems like a silly...
Like a plot hole.
Well... Not a plot hole, because I think the reason behind it is, like, the pride in being a dragon rider, and you have to keep your seat and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's not smart tactically.
We need to put you in charge of this guy. Kick Lilith Swordkill out.
Yeah, seriously. Let's go. I can't wield weather, though. I'm not that powerful.
You don't know that. You haven't bonded a dragon.
I wonder what my signet would be. Anyway.
Yeah. I wonder what your signet would be, too.
I have to think about it.
I really hate to say this, but I feel like I would be like a Dane level, or like intensic. Like, I need to know what everyone's thinking. I
thought that's what you were going to say.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'm such, like, a little Snoopy Snoop. Like,
I feel, yeah. That would, I mean, hopefully not intrinsic, so you could live.
Or
But,
I'd be smart enough to keep it a secret.
Oh, you could handle it. You could keep all those little
those thoughts
voices
in my head.
going.
What does that say about me? So Violet's kind of embarrassed by all this. Obviously, she's touched. This is such a beautiful gesture, but she's worried because she thinks that this puts a target on her back. And Xaden's like, hate to break it to you, but everyone already knows that you're not like the rest. You know, like, you know those games, like which one is not like the others?
Yeah.
Like, that is Violet.
That is Violet. Yeah. I think, I mean, I understand her insecurities about it, but at this point, everyone knows, and it's survival, like, and being able to release full power. Like, and at this point, like, that's probably the reason she doesn't have a signet, no?
Yeah.
So
possibly. I mean, as evidenced by whatever happens next in the chapter.
It just makes sense. And I also just love that, like, Taran was in on it and, like, they worked together.
I know.
So cute.
So she's debating how she feels about it, and Xaden, mind to mind, tells her, fuck, that stubborn, feisty look always makes me want to kiss you. Oh. Like, why do people not talk like this in real life?
I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that.
Like, we just need a
I'm sure
middle-aged a middle-aged woman, writer, narrating our lives and, like, telling everybody how to behave so that we could live in, like, a book like this.
I'm sure some people are, like, great and quick with banter. My brain's slow.
Mine too.
But she replies. She figures it out.
I know! This is like, I started levitating. Like, there were so many butterflies in my body.
You started levitating.
I couldn't cope. I was just like, kiss her.
For half a second, I think it was in this chapter, I was like, is he going to kiss her in front of everyone?
Oh, I would. I would melt into a puddle. I don't know what I would do with myself.
Their mind-to-mind flirting in this chapter is quite...
I told you. It was
quite lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
at the same time, I was like, okay, they need to just sleep together, because if this is the tension that they're going to constantly have in their own head, like, they're going to be distracted and, like, make a fatal mistake during the war games. Like, anyway. I was like...
That's where your mind goes, and mine is just like, give me more. Give me more.
I was just saying, no, they need to sleep together. Get it out of their system. Yeah, let's go. They just need to get it out of their system sooner than later.
They do.
Is what I was feeling in this moment.
But who comes through in the moment?
Who else?
Dane, aka Captain Obvious, who in the most psychotic move ever acts as if the last 6 months never happened. And he's like, oh, I just want what's best for Violet. Like, why would I be upset that there's a saddle? Like, if this is what gets her to keep her seat. It's like, huh? And then Xaden mind is like, bet it would be even more awkward if I kissed you now.
That's why I was like, do it. Do it.
And then she tells him, next time you kiss me, it better not be because of Dane. Next time.
I mean, we know there's going to be.
I know.
We know there's going to be a next time. There's no doubt.
So Andarna comes along because she wants to join everyone. And Violet tells her to roll in the mud so that she's not so, like, shiny and obvious.
Yeah. It's cute.
It was cute.
And Andarna's cute. Every time she's on the page, my heart just goes like, aw. So they're ready to go.
Yep.
The games start, and Violet finally gets to try the saddle and fly freely without worrying about falling. And she's just so happy in this moment. And I was so happy for her.
Yeah.
She just, like, finally feels like, oh, this is what it should be.
Yeah, this is what everyone's, like, feeling when they ride their dog. She has her arms up in the air like she's in a roller coaster.
Oh, that's so funny. It made me think of when Harry flies Buckbeak.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, wow. Yeah. Like, I was just like, oh, that pure joy.
And exhilaration.
And freedom. And, yeah.
Yeah. And meanwhile, this is all happening, and she's feeling, like, all of those, like, emotions, but she's also feeling the power rising in her body, and she's like, oh, no. Oh, no. This cannot be the day.
I'm going to explode.
Yeah, when I get, like, the backlash from not manifesting my power.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have time to even think about it or worry because they're under attack.
They're under attack by the first wing. She also, just before that, she spots the first wing in their tower and where they're guarding the egg. So right away, she's like, okay, that's where it is. They know they need to get it. But 3 of their dragons come and attack her and her gang, right?
Yeah, so Jack Barlow starts battling with Liam. And I have to hand it to Jack. You know, I really hate to do this, but he is really one heck of a rider because he got a smaller dragon, but then he jumps onto the back of Liam's dragon with a sword in hand and stabs Liam in the side with the sword. So obviously, like, no, Liam. But also, like, gotta hand it to Jack. Like, this is pretty impressive stuff.
No, I didn't even think of that. I was so upset that Liam got stabbed. I actually finished reading the chapter not taking notes because I needed to know if he survived. Like, I thought he was dying in this moment, and I was, like, crying. I was so upset. I read the chapter, like, didn't care she manifested, didn't care. Like, I just needed to know that Liam was okay. And then you don't even know at the end of the chapter. Like,
Yeah, you do.
Is it at the end? I thought it was in the next one. Oh, no.
You're right. It is
I think
in the next
anyway.
one.
But I was just, like, really upset. He doesn't deserve to be killed by Jack. That is what I was so upset about. Sorry.
It's okay.
I was so mad.
Yeah.
Like, Jack doesn't deserve that kill. Liam is such a great, innocent, helpful character, and Jack is such poison that I was like, Jack cannot have this kill.
Yeah.
I was so mad. Anyway.
Violet commands Taran to try to catch up with them, but they are not going to get there in time. Mm-hmm. So Violet is just thinking about, like you just mentioned, all the time he spent dedicated to keeping her alive and her safety. And she's like, I can't fail him now.
I know.
Welp.
I know.
And even though she is so reluctant to do it, she calls on Endarna.
Yeah. And asks permission if she could actually wield Endarna's power. And Endarna's like, yep, like, go for it. Like, you need it. This is the moment, you know? So she freezes time. And they manage to actually get that much closer to Liam as he's falling and catch him and then reset time, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wrath and fury boil my blood as my eyes lock onto the figure on top of that tower. This is the last time this asshole will come after my friends or me. Again, she orders Taran, and they're climbing higher and higher in the sky. Power rises to a breaking point, and the roof of my archives disintegrates. Power crackles above me, swirls around me, wraps along my feet below me. This visual is just so incredible. I cannot wait to see it on screen.
I know. When I read it the second time, it was great. I rushed through it the first time.
And here comes one of the most incredible lines of the book. I want this on a t-shirt. I am the sky and the power of every storm that has ever been. I am infinite.
Pretty great.
Pretty great. She screams, and then lightning splits the sky, demolishing the tower that Jack has landed on. Ciao, bye, Jack.
Yeah. Bye. Boom. Finally. Out of our hair.
Uh-huh. Taran roars with the unmistakable sound of pride. Lightning wielder. Elyse!
I know. It's insane. Like, I guess I never really paused to, like, think, what could all these Signet powers be? But, like, lightning wasn't even on my radar. And what a power.
Yeah.
Like, what a power.
I know.
I don't even know if I could think of a more powerful power. Like,
No,
that's
it's
insane.
sick. Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, she is unstoppable if she could get over killing people. But, you know.
Well, we'll get to that next chapter. Awards?
Awards. Most romantic. She's all right, I cry, my head falling into my hands. I didn't leave her to die. She's alive. There's a ruffle of air, then the hard feeling of scales against the back of my hands. I lean forward into Endarna's shoulder, sagging against her.
That's
so
sweet.
Cute.
Mine was the little speech that Xaden gave about, like, when things changed between them. I read it already, so I'm not going to reread it.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Funniest? You can ride me when the flesh rots off my bones, wing leader. Taran in response to Xaden wanting
Mine's
to
also a Taran line.
test the harness. Yeah.
That's so funny. Mine is when Dane's like, is that a saddle? And Taran goes, no, it's a collar.
Yeah, it's so good. The sassiness.
Yeah.
Spicy? Mm-hmm. Fuck that stubborn, feisty look always makes me want to kiss you.
Mine is my pulse jolts and my skin flushes at the sight of him. Our uniforms make every rider look good, but Xaden takes that up a notch with the way it cuts across the muscle line of his body.
Mm-hmm. I had that tagged at one point,
Did
too.
you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Chapter 29. Violet is feeling the guilt of her very first kill and the knowledge that she has just become a weapon of mass destruction. As she's grappling with these realizations, a late night visit to her room might just turn things around.
Just might.
Just maybe. It's nice to take your mind off things sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. A little distraction here and there. Mm-hmm. The pre-chapter blurb comes from Major Offrenda's Guide to the Dragon. The pre-chapter blurb comes from Major Offrenda's Guide to the Rider's Quadrant, unauthorized edition, and it says, the death of a cadet is an inevitable yet acceptable tragedy. Inevitable yet acceptable. Okay. Mm-hmm. This process thins the herd. Thins the herd! Leaving only the strongest riders, and as long as the cause of death does not break the codex, any rider involved in extinguishing another's life shall not be punished. That is so harsh.
I know. Basically, there's no consequences. Murder your friends. It's all cool. It's good.
As long as you don't break the codex.
Yeah.
Which, as we know, is very flimsy in terms of its applicability.
It's pretty harsh for Amber.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Violet. Yeah, have a sip of your spicy marg. You did good on those. Thank you. Violet is in a daze after what happened. Fourth Wing is celebrating, but Violet feels hollow. All she cares about is that Liam is alive because to her, if that's the case, then at least it was somewhat worth it to have kind of sacrificed her.
Yeah.
And Andarna looks at her and says, I'm proud you're mine, even if I need a bath.
I know.
I'm crying, Andarna. That's so sweet. Honestly, Andarna in Iron Flame also has this like stunningly, beautifully emotional speech.
Oh, really?
At the end that I know it's going to leave you in tears. I can't wait.
I'm excited.
Violet is in a self-hatred spiral, and I get it. She's prided herself on getting this far without killing. But, like, yeah, tough. Like, this is the deal. You know, you needed to...
Yeah. I mean, it's really heartless, I guess, to say. But in a world like this, in a situation like this, like, you know killing is part of it. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, she's allowed to have and need space for her first kill, but she needs to also realize, like, this is the life you chose. Like, this is being a rider. You are going to war. Like, it's part of it.
Very good point. Yeah. We learned that there hasn't been a lightning wielder in more than a century, which is insane. And Dane finds her and is comforting her while she throws up, and she's just repeating over and over, like, I killed him, I killed him, I killed him. And what does Dane tell her? And if you don't want to use that kind of power again, you don't have to. What the heck? First of all, Dane, are you so stupid that you think leadership will see that she wields that strong and amazing of a power, and they're going to be like, oh, don't worry, Violet. It's too tough on you emotionally to, like, Yeah,
I found that line. I mean, that line was very Dane and annoying, but I also thought in that moment, she did just need to be comforted.
I just don't think that was the way to comfort her.
He could have just not said anything. He just gave her a hug.
Yeah.
But I also don't agree with the way Xaden dealt with it.
Oh, really? I loved the way that Xaden dealt with it.
In that moment, I was annoyed because I was like, ugh, of course Dane is the one who, like, gave her a hug. But, like, I would just need a hug. Like, I will save the speech for after.
That's not Xaden's style.
So, but I'm saying I just don't think she needed that. It's about her. It's not about Xaden.
No, I get it. But what he did is he kind of...
I mean, he said what we were just saying a few minutes ago about, like, she needs to realize this is part of it. Yeah. I just didn't think it was the time.
But at the same time, how does he open it? He opens it by saying the world is a better place without Barlow in it. So he's at first reassuring her that she did the right thing. So before even talking about, like, getting used to killing and blah, 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 like, he does tell her, like, yeah, okay, it sucks that you killed someone, but you saved countless others. Like, I don't know. I just think that he appealed to her logic in that moment rather than her emotions. And sometimes when you're having a really emotional situation, the emotional side can't get through to you, but maybe the logic can. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe it's also because I married someone who's, like, very tough love that, like, this just kind of...
I think also, like, I don't know. I think everyone deals with, obviously, emotions differently.
Yeah.
And the way Violet was feeling, like, I just don't know that she needed to hear that speech in that moment. I think she just needed her moment to feel her feelings. And, like, he almost was, like, cutting that too short.
Maybe because he didn't want her to spiral? I don't know.
It maybe. I mean, and maybe it worked for her. I just don't.
It wouldn't
I
have worked for
disagree.
you.
It definitely wouldn't have worked for me. And from what I'm seeing, I don't know that it was the right move. That's all.
Yeah, fair enough.
Hey, it's the first bad thing I say about Xaden. Okay.
No, I know. But I guess for me, what I took away from this, rather than, I mean, this is completely normal. We are two different people with like two different perspectives. Like that's the whole point.
Here.
Exactly. But for me, I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, Dane wants to remove the obstacle from her life by saying, oh, you don't need to wield your power. And Xaden wants to teach her how to get through the obstacle. That's kind of how I interpreted all of this. So rather than looking at it as though he is not giving her the space to like feel her emotions or whatever, he's just like, because think about it also. If they're in battle, she's not going to have time to get it together. She's going to have to.
Yeah, but this is her first kill. This is the first time. She has been working so hard to avoid killing people.
I know.
She knew, and everyone knew, and he's called her out on it, that she did not want to kill someone.
I know.
So obviously this is going to be a huge blow emotionally for her. I think what Xaden said is absolutely correct. I just think his timing was poor.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Okay. But then Xaden says, thank you for saving Liam. He's important to me.
Yes, I know. It's like his baby brother or something.
I know. It's just so
really
cute. I mean, we've talked about this before, but I love when a guy is so transparent with his emotions and unafraid to show that love and affection for another man. I really like that.
Absolutely.
So Xaden kind of walks away, and Rhiannon is like, hey, you guys are really weird. She kind of like calls out their like weird relationship.
Yeah.
Which I just thought was funny. But then she's like, cut the crap. How did you move so fast out there?
Yeah. She knows something's out.
Yeah.
She's like, I blinked my eyes and you were there.
Yeah.
And Violet, rightfully so, doesn't tell her. She keeps the secret from her. She feels a bit guilty about it, but like Taran comes in and says, like, the secret is for dragonkind. Like, it's not really her secret to tell.
Absolutely.
And it would be detrimental if it got out, I think. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's super dangerous if anybody
she's like,
found out.
yeah, Taran's just really fast.
Yeah, and Rhiannon kind of bought it.
Yeah, she's like, all right, hey, Liam's alive. Like, we're happy.
On to the next.
Violet, though, she talks about how she feels she cheated death. Like, she felt like she was playing God in that moment.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting perspective, because I kind of see where she's getting at. She had to, like, freeze time to save his life or whatever. But at the same time, like, is using your powers and wielding your signets cheating death? Is it playing God? Like, not really. Like,
yeah, she's just using a tool in her toolbox.
She's just using a tool in her toolbox. Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
The scene changes.
She's in her bedroom.
Throwing
angry.
daggers at a target.
She's like so angry and reckless. Like, you could feel the heat.
I know.
Like, the
this
heated
is like,
emotions.
I identify with this.
Yeah.
Like, this is so me. I like the number of times like I just would, I mean, people know when I get mad, I want to burn the house down. Like, I don't care for the consequences of.
Right.
I mean, I do because I can't afford to like replace my shit all the time. So I don't break things, but like if I could, I would.
Yeah. But I think it's even her emotions, like, we're beyond the physical. Like, yeah, she's throwing daggers. Yeah, she's angry, but she's like in a fuck it, I don't care what happens mood. So we know that extends to like on a personal level too.
For sure.
We know what's coming, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
In just reading those first sentences, I'm like, oh, you're in that kind of mood.
Yeah. So someone knocks at the door. Someone.
Who could it be? Who's at the door? I don't know.
Obviously.
Xaden comes in.
And he does a double take because all she's wearing is this like tiny little nightgown. And like, I don't know about you, but like, I don't look cute when I go to bed. I would love to be one of those girls that looks so cute when they go to bed and like cute little nightgown, cute little pajamas.
I'm not a big fan of nightgowns, but like a cute like matching set. I guess pajama could be cute, but like nightgowns are just like. Have you ever tried to sleep in a nightgown? I move too much. I like strangle myself. I like roll over and then I'm like stuck in it. It's not cute.
Yeah. Or like, I don't like the ones that have an elastic like around your boobs or something because you feel constricted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sleep in like giant t-shirts. Like that's my comfort.
Yeah. Or naked.
Or naked. In the colder months, not so much, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Again, I would like to be the kind of girl that has a cute little bedtime aesthetic. I'm not. Anyway, the tension in this moment, sweat is pouring off of me. It's just, as they're talking, Violet is still throwing her daggers, but her eyes are locked on Xaden's.
Yeah. And she's nailing it every time.
And he has the same reaction as us, finding it supremely hot. And while they're talking about Violet learning to wield her lightning, he is no longer masking his desire for her. He is eyeing her body unabashedly.
Yeah.
The power she must feel just with that.
But in that moment, though, she's just like spilling her guts. Like she's saying everything, how she's feeling, whatever. So I don't even know how much she was registering at first of him looking at her, you know?
Well, we're reading about it, so obviously she's registering it.
Oh, that's true. I guess so.
Because she's a narrator, right?
That's true.
How could she not register it, Elise? Come on.
I just felt
been
like she
dying
was
for this
so
moment.
angry in her own head, in her own moment, and she's just throwing daggers and just like...
Yes, but at the same time, like she is angry, but she's also... The anger is also translating into a no-nonsense kind of mood because she's like, why are you here?
Yeah.
She's cutting to the chase. And he tells her, because I can't seem to stay away. Is it finally going to happen? Is it finally going to happen?
I mean, if it didn't at this point.
I know. And she's like taunting him, shouldn't you be out there celebrating with everyone else for having won the war games? And he's seeing that she's daring him to like not be here anymore. And he's seeing it and he is not falling for the bait.
Yeah.
And what follows is, I actually think, a really important conversation. Because like you were saying before, they're talking about Violet's feelings around killing. Xaden is validating those feelings and also like talking it out with her, which I think is...
She needed that. Yeah.
While she's upset, and again, this is where another thing that Elise and I disagree on, he stays so calm and it makes me irrationally angry. And Elise is like, oh, this is so healthy.
It is. I don't know. It works for me. But like we've said before, everyone deals with emotions differently. So.
But she just went through this like super critical like life milestone, as terrible as it is to call it that. And she just wants him on her level.
So I think for me, like if I am angry, like I just need to vent. If I'm going to vent, I just need you to listen to my vent and not take up space. Like, you stay in your bubble. Let me have my moment. Don't take up my space. Don't take up my anger. It's my anger. This is my moment. You keep it for yours. So, like, that's how I am with it. I don't know why, but that's how I feel about it.
No,
but
you prefer
someone like, bolstering.
I guess like sometimes like when I'm venting to Justin and like I'm saying something, he'll like, so Justin will jump in and it's not with like, it's not in a way that he's taking up space. It's just that he's validating me with the same level of emotion. So like if I'm going to be getting upset, he'll be like, yeah, like that is really annoying. But like he's not saying calm, you know what I mean? He's just like matching me. I don't know. I feel less, I personally feel less crazy when that happens. Anyway, Violet tells Xaden that she's not mad that Jack is dead. She's mad that the fact that he's dead or like his death has changed her. And she says, Dane told me that this place strips away all the niceties to reveal who someone really is. She reveals something so vulnerable and sad that her dad had told her that she wasn't like her brother and her mom, that she was different. But it turns out that her path is even more destructive than theirs. So she says, all this time I had this tiny driving hope that I would be like Brennan, that would be the twist in my little fable, that my Signet would be mending, that I could put all the broken things back together. But instead, I'm made to split them apart. How many people will I kill with this? And like in this moment, Xaden, he gives her power. He validates her. And he says, as many as you choose. Just because you gained power today doesn't mean you lost agency. So I like that he's constantly like bringing her back. I don't think that he is reframing this in a positive way. He's just reframing it in a way to give her like,
to be able to process it.
Yeah, but also to give her agency, like he's saying, you know? Yeah, okay, you have a really dangerous, like, signet power. Doesn't mean that you're gonna turn evil and
like you will
become a killing
choose
machine.
to wield it when you choose to wield it, and you will choose to kill when you choose to kill. And
Absolutely.
like, it's still, the power is still hers to control. You know?
Absolutely. Exactly. So she says, what's wrong with me? Any other rider would love this amount of power. And he says, you've never been like any other rider. Probably because you never wanted to be here. And it's like, again, he's just so...
Yeah, he's very sweet.
He's so sweet. And he makes me love him even more when he says, do what you need to. Like, you need to get it out. You need to yell. Yell at me.
I know.
Like, you want to hit something? Hit me. I can take it.
I love that so much.
I
don't even know if it's like a trope, but it's definitely something. I don't know if you'd call it a trope, but it's like a thing that happens in a lot of books and a lot of movies. It gets me every time.
Me too.
Like, I don't know why. I find it so attractive.
Me too.
I'm like, it's the most like intense, like supportive.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. You know what it's like? It's because it makes you feel like that person, whatever you throw at them, they can take it. So that makes you feel
and still
so
love
safe.
you in the end.
Yeah. Oh, I just love it.
And I'm not saying you should like yell at your partner and be mean to them, but it's just like, I don't know, it's like a supportive.
It's like, do what you need to do.
Like, let's just, get your release. And I mean, different kind of release, but you know, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
So she thinks to herself, hitting him is the last thing I want to do. And suddenly I'm done fighting it. And he goes, come on, show me what you got. And she kisses him.
She does.
Please, it is finally happening.
It's finally.
They are in a bedroom. She is in a nightgown.
And they're kissing.
And they're kissing.
Yeah.
It is going to happen.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Okay, but first, awards.
Okay, yes.
Most romantic. So the moment that Taran is shielding Violet.
While she's puking,
and Andarna's there, and they're just having like a little rider dragon moment, which I think she needed. So it was really like reassuring and cute.
That is very cute. Mine is when Xaden tells her, you wanted a quiet life full of books and facts. You wanted to record the battles, not be in them. There's nothing wrong with you. You get to be angry that you killed a man today. You get to be angry that man tried to kill your friend. You get to feel however you want within these walls. He just validates her. Mm-hmm. He sees her.
Mm-hmm. See, that's the speech she needed before, I think. But I understand him wanting to keep the weaknesses within those four walls. I get it. Or maybe it's the speech I would have needed before. Anyway, so funniest. You're most definitely in a relationship. I just can't figure out if it's the opposites attract partnership that has you bearing claws or the slow, lethal burn of a scalding sexual tension. Rhiannon.
Mine is when she's throwing daggers at her target and Xaden comes in and asks, imagining that's me.
That's good. Spiciest.
Yeah.
So do whatever you need to get it out. You want to yell at me. You want to hit something, hit me. I could take it. I find that so attractive.
I mean, I love it too. But mine is when she throws the dagger without looking at the target and he goes, fuck, that's hotter than it should be.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I had that tag too.
So as we promised, we are at chapter 30 and we have our second little announcement. And that is that we have our first sponsor, Smoke Show Hot Sauce. We approached this company because we just thought it would be really fun, especially on this episode, which is our first spicy episode, to have hot sauce
to add some spice.
Exactly. So we have our spicy margs with spicy hot sauce for our spicy
scene.
You can head to our Instagram. We're going to be posting our spicy marg recipe.
Yeah.
And our promo code, we're also going to put it in the description, but the promo code is BBB15 for 15% off site-wide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All their hot sauces.
They're so good.
We'll link all that info as well, or we'll link their website in the description.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really good. It's a smoky jalapeno hot sauce. It's really tasty. It's spicy, but it's not like burning your face sauce.
Yeah, they have different one.
Yeah. They do. They have so many. They're really amazing. So, yeah. Time to have a sip of
Delicious.
spicy marg.
To get into the spicy scene.
Oh my goodness, Elyse, this scene.
Chapter 30.
Chapter 30.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
It's all lightning explosions and shadowed blackouts as we reach the moment this slow burn has led to. Finally letting go, our heroes wreak havoc in Violet's bedroom. We also learn the history of Xaden's scars, and Violet gets her first wielding lesson.
Okay. The pre-chapter blurb comes from Article 5, Section 7 of the Dragon Riders Codex. Though not forbidden, cadets are strongly encouraged not to develop strong romantic attachments while studying in the quadrant for the efficiency of the unit. Well,
Oops.
too late.
I mean, let's be honest. It's been happening left, right, and center
for sure.
in this
Well,
department.
I mean, no, they've been celebrating, but they haven't had strong attachments.
Yeah, but you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. That's true.
I'm sure there's a couple.
So we leave off with Violet reaching up to kiss Xaden. And all of a sudden, boom, Guy takes control. He has her pinned up against the wall, but he's still not giving it to her.
What do you mean?
Like, okay. There's this like whole thing in romance books generally that I've noticed that I feel like is like kind of new. And I say this because I've read like Bridgerton, which I think came out in the 90s. And it's not really a thing, but it is in SJM books. It is a thing in this book, and it's a thing in like other rom-coms that I've read, like Emily Henry.
Consent.
Yes. They want verbal consent. And like, discuss.
I mean, I think it's just where things have gotten to with everything going on, and like post Me Too world, I think consent has been brought to the forefront a lot more, and it's important. And I understand what you're thinking, and just like you just want to get to it, whatever. But I don't think
She
it hurts.
kissed him first.
No, I know, but he also knows that she's feeling a lot of emotions, and he doesn't want her to regret it.
I know.
And to be doing this just because of the emotions she's feeling. And there's a lot. He understands the weight of this moment.
No, I know. Like, I know, you're right. But at the same time, like, she's been taunting him for 30 chapters. She's been flirting with him. She's been trying to get him to kiss her again. Like, come on.
Yeah, but
Take the hint.
Yeah, but it's like, so what? So he wanted to just make sure she was consenting before jumping in.
We've been waiting 30 chapters for this. Let's go.
They are going. They are going.
She says, it's time to stop dancing around this unbearable tension and break it. Thank you, Violet. We all thank you so much. She tells him that she wants him, and that just completely lets him loose.
Yeah.
And I will say what I've been saying for many moons now. I love a man written by a woman, and Xaden Ryerson's prowess in this scene is just further support of that statement. Like, these women should be writing a handbook that is obligatory for all men to read.
I mean, yeah, definitely like the trend in all these romance. I mean, I say all of these. I've read like ACOTAR and this. Like, I haven't read that many romances.
And Sanctuary of the Shadow.
And Sanctuary and stuff. It's true. But like the woman's pleasure comes first in these scenes.
I love that.
Absolutely. It's great. It's as it should be. So there you go.
The scene is desperate. They can't get it on fast enough. And I'm like sweating. And again, like I read this chapter several times, way more than the 3 times I've read this book. Like
Amazing.
They're on the desk, shit's flying everywhere while they're making out. Yeah. And somehow Xaden's like trying to talk her out of it still.
His restraint is very impressive. Like, I feel like at this point it's like, okay, dude, come off it.
Yeah.
Like, obviously she wants, like, she said it.
Yeah.
Like, let's go.
Yeah. He's like, I'm trying to do the honorable thing and not take advantage of you after you've had a shit day.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I mean, she just wants to make him more endearing. Like,
I know. And like, yes, you're right. It's very endearing, but not in this moment. In this moment, I'm like, this is not the time.
Get to it.
I love how confident Violet is in the scene. Like, she knows what she wants. She's not afraid to demand it. And
like, which is crazy. Like, what leaps and bounds from the beginning when we first meet her. Like, she is so...
She's always been very sexually, like, strong
open.
and open, yeah.
But she was also kind of meek at the beginning.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because we first meet her when she's like in a family dynamic, but it's just like, I don't know. She's become a very powerful woman.
She has, but also think about like when her and Dane meet up for the first time again and she's saying how like she's good with her tongue or like whatever.
It's true.
So somehow, as Violet is literally about to teeter over the edge, she's feeling the power surging within her and they're about to do the deed. Violet informs him that she takes a fertility suppressant. And I hate this so much. I hate this.
I found the timing,
It's the worst timing ever.
I know.
At least in ACOTAR, they discuss birth control after the fact because in their world, they could take some sort of potion after, like the next day or whatever.
Yeah, like a plan B thing. But yeah, no, I agree. The timing of that. I'm like, okay, good for you guys. Why? Okay. The timing wasn't great. But whatever, better safe than sorry.
Yeah, I guess.
She's just trying to promote safe sex. Like, I get why she wrote it this way.
No, I know.
It's how all sex and relationships, like, if you watch teen movies nowadays, like, they're all written that way, which is hopefully to allow people to feel more comfortable to talk about protection and to talk about it. But I agree the timing was
I know.
weird.
Also, apparently there are no STDs in this world because they take a fertility suppressant, but nobody's saying anything about.
Oh, right. Right. What a condom would protect you from. Yeah.
And I just want to note, in this scene, the mind speaking is very convenient because they're able to communicate and not stop kissing.
Oh, it's true.
Like, she can tell him, like, what she wants and, like, she, you know, like, they can just have that communication that, like, in real life, you would have to literally stop kissing to, like, speak because that's normal. That's how
we work. That's true. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Like, think of how great that would be.
Yeah. I still don't want voices in my head, but...
I was going to say give me all the voices. Don't give me all the voices, but give me, like, a voice.
It's funny.
And basically, as they're, like, going at it, her power is just, like, she's shooting lightning in her room. Like, the curtains are caught on fire. And whatever, but he's, like... I don't know how he could be so into the moment, but also, like, putting out the fire, focusing on her, like, focusing on himself. Anyway.
It's like lightning, shadows. There's a lot going on. The earlier, actually, she lets her hair down. And, like, my goodness, his hair fetish is real.
I know.
He's so obsessed with it.
But I pointed that out to you before,
No, I know, but it just, like, reiterated it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's really into her hair.
Yeah. Which also kind of reminds me of... like more it reminds me more of those more like historical romances because women always have their hair up. So having their hair down, even actually in Silver Flames. Well, I don't think that's a spoiler. No. Basically, Nesta has her hair down at one point,
and Cassian's like, whoa, I've never seen it down.
Yeah.
I mean, changes the look of a person.
It does.
I was wondering, as all these explosions of like power and stuff are going on, does this happen for everyone? Like, is this a normal writer?
I don't think so.
Situation, or is it because their sex is that explosive?
No, I think it's because she's a lightning wielder.
Okay, and he's only using the shadows because
to stop. Yeah, his shadows are not because he's losing control. It's because he's trying to like not burn the place down. Although he does say something about wanting to burn the place down later on in the chapter, but that's a different story. So I am choosing, for the sake of my sanity, not to go into any more detail. But after an absolutely perfect first time, like, I have never...
destroyed a bedroom?
No, but like, who... on their first time having sex with someone has like that good of an experience.
Yeah, no. No.
Props to Xaden Ryerson and his bedroom skills, I guess.
There you go.
Violet takes advantage of this post-coital goodwill between the two of them because they're like cuddling and like whatever. And she, again, asks about the scars on his back. And I feel like this was the appropriate time because they're both vulnerable.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
He reveals that he's got 107 scars. Does this number sound familiar, Elyse?
Yes, it does. I was like, it all makes sense now.
Turns out.
For those who might have skipped it, in one of the Xaden chapters, he talks about 107 souls he is responsible for. And Myriam was like, oh, what about this? And I was like, I don't know what it means. So I just read over it. But now I know what it means.
Exactly.
He's responsible for all the marked ones.
Exactly. And he did this when he was like 20. Mm-hmm. How is he so noble? How is he so handsome, so capable, so competent, so perfect?
I know. I mean, yeah, we know he's the oldest of the marked ones, and we know that they were kind of in a foster situation. So I think he kind of felt the need to protect all these children.
Yeah.
Like he was forced into this role, but he embraced it.
Yeah.
And he didn't have to.
I know.
So
after this moment, she asks him to stay, and he gives the most classic broody boy instruction. Mm-hmm. Don't fall in love with me.
Oh my God. I hated it.
You know what, actually?
So much.
It's giving a walk to remember.
I know. I thought that too.
Did you?
Just don't fall in love with me. I hate that line.
I
hate
know.
the don't fall in love with me. I was like, Xaden, first of all,
Too late.
For both of you. Like, don't even. Why are you even trying?
Yeah.
It was, rolled my eyes so hard at that part.
Then they cuddle and fall asleep, and it's all like very cute.
Yeah. And she wakes up, and he's gone.
But he left her flowers.
He left her violets.
Like, how is she not supposed to fall in love with him?
I know. Don't fall in love with me, but let me be the sweetest person ever. Like, what? Anyway.
And she's getting ready to go to archive duty, and there's a knock at her door. But no, it's not Liam. Mm-hmm. It's Professor Carr. Mm-hmm. There's no, like, enjoying the fact she's manifesting her signet. There's no, like, break. No. It's like, no, let's go. Boom,
caught
training.
Wind that she is a lightning wielder. And we already know his view on, like, signets is very academic and very, like, almost, he dehumanizes the riders. Like, he's more focused on their wielding because, like, when we talked about Brennan being a healer, he was like, oh, that signet was like, what a tragedy to lose it. So we know he's going to be like, you're lightning. You are the most powerful thing. You are the most powerful rider that like signet that we could have. Like we need to put this into action. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Too practical. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Just saying too practical.
Yeah. So they fly off to a remote place, and this is so that she can practice wielding her lightning without hurting anyone. And it's also a colder place high up in the mountains because Carr did his research, and lightning wielders tend to get warm very easily when they manifest their signets. Mm-hmm. And Violet turns to Taran, and she's like, please don't leave me. And he's like, never. I'll burn him alive before he takes a single step towards you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because she doesn't really trust him.
No, of course not. She's terrified of him. Yeah.
She's seen him kill someone, so...
Yeah. Then Carr says something that actually comes back a lot in this series, and it's about nature finding its balance. Mm-hmm. And he explains that he's found a correlation between, like, different areas as a check on power. And so for her, it seems to be her body. So in the sense that she has this super strong power, so her body, because her body is really weak. It's like a way to, or her body is really weak because of her power. I don't know, chicken or the egg there, but...
Yeah, they balance out. Yeah.
Yeah. And Taran doesn't like that comment, and Carr's like, your dragon doesn't trust me, and I'll infer that it's because you don't trust me. Mm-hmm. And she kind of opens up about the whole Jeremiah conversation, and they talk through the whole intrinsic thing and why it's a death sentence. Mm-hmm. And basically, it's because knowledge is power, and they can't have someone walking around with unfettered access to classified material. There's security arrest to the entire kingdom. But then Violet's like, okay, but what about Dane? And Taran says, because he will be useful to them as long as they can keep him under control. His power is also limited to touch, so it's more controllable. And it's that whole thing that we've kind of been noticing along the course of this book is that Dane is so inculcated. Like, there is absolutely no doubt in his mind about the rightness and the justifiedness of the actions of the kingdom, that for him, like, why wouldn't he just be a little... foot soldier and do whatever he is told with his powers, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he's not dangerous to them.
Yeah. Yeah. He's actually the perfect candidate for what they need.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then Carr says something kind of ominous. He says, the fact that you bonded Taran makes you and Ryerson the most coveted pair of riders that this kingdom has seen for a long time. Mm-hmm. Can I offer you a piece of advice? Keep your loyalties clear. You and Ryerson both have exceptional lethal power that any rider would be envious of, but together you would be a formidable enemy who command simply could not afford to let exist. Do you understand what I'm saying? What do you mean? Are they a target? Are they going to get killed?
No,
are they going to be put on a hit list?
Don't turn on Navarre. Because they know he's the marked one.
Okay, yeah, but like, first of all, the idea of being disloyal never crossed Violet's mind. Like, she's still loyal.
Yeah, but the people who run the wars and stuff don't know that.
Her mom's a general. Why wouldn't she?
Because maybe her mom is up to really shady things.
Okay, maybe. I didn't think that far. But she also knows that Xaden has reasons to be loyal too. And I don't know how public like this deal is, but I would assume that at least those in leadership would know.
Yeah.
So I feel like this whole question of like putting, like, it's just weird. I don't know.
I mean, maybe. I think I brought it up before, like really, really early on. Like, we don't know the war. We don't know why there was a rebellion. And like, I'm still waiting to find out why.
You'll find out.
Because maybe we will find out and be like, yeah, there needed to be a rebellion, you know? Mm-hmm. And if Violet is on their side, like not Navarre's side, that is going to be a huge issue for Navarre. So.
Yeah.
And I understand them being skittish. They've been very sketchy this whole time.
This next interaction makes me giggle and is also home to one of my favorite lines of the book. Carr is asking about Violet, like when Violet wields her lightning, and she's like, it's like an emotional reaction. Yeah. So Carr's like, okay, ground your power and try to feel whatever it was that you're feeling. And he goes back to his like notebook, you know?
Yeah.
And Taran goes, should I get the wing leader?
So good, I read it too. Yeah, it made me laugh. Like, I think I actually laughed out loud reading that part.
Same, every time.
Yeah.
And Violet like grounds in her power, and Xaden reaches out. He notices that she's far away, and she's like, yeah, I'm training with Carr. Things are about to get awkward if I can't wield. And he sends her mental images of them banging.
Yeah. To give her an emotional response.
Yes, and that does it.
It works.
And she's blushing, and she's like getting all hot and bothered, and I find it so funny. Carr is like, see? The last lightning wielder made them overheat too. Like,
yeah. I don't know if that's why she was overheating, but
exactly.
It's so funny. Yeah, that whole scene was good. It was really funny.
Yeah.
And she does it. She wields. She can't control it yet, but at least she knows how to summon it. Yeah. Because she was able to like replicate it without the sex scenes. Yeah. Moments later.
Yeah, because I think she kind of hones in on what the emotion underlying all that is, and she kind of just like taps into that.
And we already know she's a fast learner, so.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Great way to round out the chapter.
I know.
Awards?
All
right. Most romantic. Mm-hmm. Xaden saving the marked ones. Like, putting himself responsible, being in charge of the 107. I loved it.
Yeah. Mine is the flowers that he leaves for her.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
Yeah. Funniest line?
From the looks of it, you can't even control your powers in your sleep. Kara says that to her.
Oh.
Sleep. It's just so funny because I was like, oh man, every time they like have sex now, everyone's just going to know because the sky is going to be lit up. Like, poor girl. Anyway.
It's so funny. Mine is should I get the wing leader?
Yeah.
What's your spiciest?
Stop being so fucking honorable and fuck me, Xaden.
Oh, mine was the entire sex scene.
There you go. I almost wrote that.
Because it was spicy.
It was.
It was spicy margarita.
It was
spicy. So good. Mm-hmm. All right. Next week, please read chapters 31, 32, and 33. Thank you so much for listening. Please rate this podcast, leave a review, share it with your friends. If you like us, odds are they will too. We just are having so much fun getting to know people in our DMs, having conversations, and really trying to build out this community. The number of times people have said that they're just so happy to have a place where they can talk about books with people who are equally as nerdy about them as they are. Like, that is us. That is why we did this. It's why we continue to do this. And it's just so much fun.
It is.
So stay in touch. You can follow us on Instagram at Book Bound Pod and on TikTok at Book Bound Besties. And tag us in your reaction videos. Share the episodes that you're listening to your stories. DM us.
Spread the word.
Exactly. Like, we just cannot express enough how grateful we are for the people who have been doing that so far and just how much fun it's been. And the feedback we've also gotten from our listeners has been invaluable. So good, bad, or ugly, send it our way. We'd love to hear it. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, you can email us at bookboundpod@gmail.com. Let's get to reading.